Hello guys, back with another video. Today, I will be talking about the top 10 NASCAR races I have ever witnessed, part 1 of 2. Now, I split this into 2 parts because this will probably be a really long series. I already know this video is probably going to be about 12 minutes long, so I'm just giving you guys a break, splitting it up into the first 6 races and then giving you the second 5, which would be a better ranking than just all 10 at once because I really don't have the time or the energy to make a 30-minute video about the 10 best NASCAR races I've ever seen, not only for view and subscriber standpoints, but just for your guys' interests. But yeah, other than that, let's get into it and see what we have for today. For number 10 on our list, we have the GoBowling.com 235 at the Daytona Road Course. Now, I found this race memorable for many different things, and it's been almost 4 years since this race happened. First of all, it was the first race I ever saw at the Daytona Road Course. Second of all, it had a lot of drama, even on the very first lap between teammates Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin. Kyle Busch caused many incidents throughout the day, including this spin which brought out a caution. Kevin Harvick had a really scary incident where he got spun in front of the entire field, and yet somehow he managed to miss every single car. I still find it miraculous that him and that beautiful paint scheme managed to survive that crash unscathed. Not to mention how good the finish was. It came down to a barn burner between Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott right at the end, and it came to the final corner where it looked like Denny Hamlin just might pull what Chase Elliott did on Ryan Blaney in the 2021 Clash. And you can see here how close Denny was. He could have definitely wrecked Chase, but Chase came out with the dub in the end and won the very first NASCAR Cup race at the Daytona Road Course. And just like that, that is why this race is number 10 on our list. And for number 9 on our list, we have the 2020 Busch Clash at Daytona. Wait, you're kidding. You can't include this awful mess of a race on this list, right? Well, just hear me out, because this race had a lot of redeeming qualities and was extremely entertaining. While we had Eric Jones missing his pit stop and almost killing his tire changer, right after, we had Joey Logano throwing the worst block in NASCAR history on Kyle Busch that proceeded to kill everybody in the field. And if you thought that was it for crashes, you'd be mistaken, because right after on the restart, there was another huge crash that took out everybody left in the race. And if you thought that was it, oh no, we had Denny Hamlin blow out his tire and kill everybody else. And that had to have been it, right? No. We had Kyle Larson throw another horrendous block, this time on Chase Elliott, that would kill everybody else in the field. And if you thought this race was just about crashes, you'd be wrong. And it isn't on this list because of that. My absolute favorite part of this race, I'll put into a little edit for you guys, because it was just that incredible that I needed to put it on this list, whether everybody else hated it or not. And this is why I love this race.
Going to make a move on him and still try to win this race. Doesn't look like it. He's going to push his teammate to the win.
Eric Jones is going to win the Busch Clash with a car that's ready for the dumpster.
Okay, I know what everybody's gonna say about this race. It was such a wreckfest, it was so bad, I can't believe I watched this, but you gotta admit it was at least fun. Everybody complains that modern day NASCAR is such a snooze fest and they won't tune in, but then they get mad when something like the 2020 Busch Clash happens. All I'm gonna say is that I really enjoyed this race, and I know some people did as well, and I don't care if you call it stupid, or you call it awful, or whatever you say, I really did enjoy this race. So just please don't slander me for my personal opinion, and let's just move on to number 8 on our list. Taking the number 8 spot on our list is the 2023 AG Pro 300 at Talladega Superspeedway. I missed a tiny bit of the first half of the race, but apparently Parker Retzlaff almost flipped right at the beginning, which I thought was really cool. So I rushed home to see Dexter Stacey take a horrible lick into the inside wall, only to be followed by a horrible series of barrel rolls by the O2 of Blaine Perkins in the Ollie's car.
Good stuff, cheap!
All jokes aside, Blaine Perkins was lucky to walk away unscathed from this incident, although he did have to be life-flighted to a hospital. It would be a while until we would see our next incident, that being with John Hunter Nemechek with 33 laps to go, who'd smack the inside wall hard driver's side first. This would lead into another restart where the junior motorsports cars would all decide to implode. Little did everybody know, this would lead to one of the craziest incidents in the Xfinity Series history. Remember how I said Joey Logano's block was the worst in NASCAR history? Yeah, well this one tops it.
And this is the big one here at Talladega.
Oh, my.
Got one upside down. Is that Daniel Hemrick?
That's Hemrick upside down.
So yeah, Daniel Hemrick went on his lid. That would be the first time I would ever get to see two cars go upside down in one race. Although I did see parts of the 2016 Talladega Cup race, I'm not going to count it since I didn't see either flip or the finish of the race. But I will say, this race was a wild race, and these two flips definitely made it higher up on the list. But the thing that made me really like this race was the finish, which ended up being a close one between the three cars of Parker Kligerman, Sheldon Creed, and the eventual winner of Jeb Burton. This would be Jeb's second win at Talladega and his second career win overall, but it was more about the team owner, Jordan Anderson, than Jeb. Jordan Anderson had a horrible crash the year prior at Talladega that almost took his life, and he won his very first race as an owner at the same track that almost claimed his life. Everybody likes to see an underdog winner, especially if that winner has a coveted last name. And frankly, I really enjoyed the AG Pro 300 at Talladega, a lot more than any other race in the 2023 season so far. That's why I have this race ranked 8th on our list. But now, let's go see what 7th is. Taking the number 7 spot on our list is the 2021 NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship race at the Phoenix Motor Speedway in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, this race would be higher up on the list had it not been as lackluster as it was for the first half, but that's not to say that it wasn't a bad race, because it was really good. Stephen Parsons had the first big incident of the day near the end of the race when he blew out his motor. A few laps later, Jade Buford spun around bringing out the caution, which would cause AJ Allmendinger to pit. This pit would be the worst decision Allmendinger would make, causing him to spin out after a bearing was loose on his right rear wheel, taking him out of championship contention and leaving it to either Cindric or Daniel Hemrick. The final caution of the day would be between Josh Williams and the aforementioned Jade Buford when they would slam into each other and cause a red flag, leading this race into overtime. Before we get into this final restart, I want to pause. See how the two leaders, Austin Cindric and Daniel Hemrick, are side by side? Well, keep an eye on that for the next lap, because they will stay like that the entire time. In turns 1 and 2, they stay neck and neck, and in 3 and 4, they stay like it too, until Cindric just barely gets ahead on Hemrick, right at the white flag. Hemrick's going to have a shot in 1, but he's not going to get there. Maybe in 2, but yet again, just not quite there. That means he's going to have one more shot in 3 and 4, where he's going to be faced with one of two tough decisions. And I'm going to stop it right here. Because those two decisions are either A, race him clean and let him win the championship, or B, he's going to race him dirty and win it for himself. Something many people forget was that Hemrick was born and lived in Kannapolis, North Carolina, the same hometown of NASCAR's greatest driver, Dale Earnhardt, who just so happened to use a tactic called the bump and run to get ahead of people. So, will Daniel Hemrick use the same tactic to win himself a championship and to never be looked at as the driver who can never win a race? Well, I guess there's only one way to see.
Closing the gap. And a 4. They're side by side. Hemrick's going to win it at the line. Daniel Hemrick just silenced the doubters. He's made his own history. Daniel Hemrick wins. He's the Xfinity Series champion.
You got it.
So yeah, Daniel Hemrick really did win the race and the championship. After all these years of being looked at as the driver who can never win a race and who can never cut it in NASCAR's top series, he made it happen. He was now an Xfinity Series champion, and no one could ever take that away from him. And that is why I have this race ranked number 7 on our list. But now, let's see what number 6 is. Taking the number 6 spot on our list is the 2022 Firekeepers Casino 400 at the Michigan International Speedway. Now, while I may be a tiny bit biased on this race because I was there in person, it was really a good race ever since the green flag dropped. The first incident of the day was a big one where J.J. Ely and Eric Amarillo would get into each other, causing a multi-car pileup that got Austin Cindric almost 3 feet in the air. Kyle Busch is another driver who got in that big wreck, but the funny thing is, fans used to boo him instead of cheering him. Yeah, the only reason I included that was because I used to hate Kyle Busch and now like him. But the next incident of the day was an even bigger one, this time with Cole Custer catching on fire after he blew out a tire. Now, this would spew oil all over the racetrack, causing a multi-minute cleanup. And when I say this fire was big, it was absolutely ginormous. You could smell it from the other side of the racetrack, which was something I had never experienced at a NASCAR race before. The final incident of the day will be between Ross Chastain and Christopher Bell after pit stops, and the two were going for the lead. Christopher Bell tried to make a horrible block on Ross Chastain after he had already gotten there, and Chastain mistakenly put him in the wall, ending both of their days pretty much. Although, Christopher Bell would continue and end up finishing 25th or something like that. Now, per usual for these races, my favorite part was the final 2 laps, just because of how exciting they were. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of drama like a super speedway race, but the absolute painstakingly long time it took for Kevin Harvick to get to the checkered line was just absolutely fun. Kevin Harvick was at the time, and still is, one of my favorite drivers, and he had not won in almost 2 years. So, when I saw him get to that checkered flag, I was elated. Like, I was cheering louder than I think I've ever cheered in my entire life. But, needless to say, Kevin would win the race, with Bubba finishing not that far behind him. And I was excited. This is only my second ever in-person NASCAR race, and not only did I see one of my favorite drivers win, but I saw him win in not only dominating fashion, but letting him break his 57 race win streak. That is why I have this race on this list, and so while many others are going to hatefully disagree with me on this race, I have to say I definitely enjoyed it, and that is why I have it ranked number 6 on our list. So that will pretty much do it for today. Part 2 will probably be coming out in, I would assume, 2 to 3 weeks, because I have a couple other huge projects for the channel, including a stop motion that will be out for the NASCAR Lucas Oil Cup Series. So I hope you guys will enjoy that when it comes out. But other than that, I hope you guys like the video. Leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. So other than that, see you later. More uploads soon.